So, aloha mai kako. This is the voice of Sarah Wakana, and I'm doing my case study on the Hawaiʻi Longline Fishery. So, what is longline fishing? Longline fishing is a commercial fishing technique. It consists of a main line supporting a number of short vertical lines called snoods. Each snood carries a baited hook, and it can carry up to thousands of baited hooks. The main line could be anywhere from 1 mile long to several tens of miles long. So this is what a long line fishing looks like. These are the pelagic long lines. They're rigged with floats and weights that hang vertically in the water. The lines can be deep set, which is the technique used to target tuna, or shallow set, and that's the technique used to target swordfish. This graph takes a look at the landings of all pelagic species caught in Hawaii by different fishing methods. The years span 1987 to 2008. The measurements are in millions of pounds. So besides trolling and handlining in the main Hawaiian Islands zone, that's the MHI, there's also offshore handlining and aku boat. You can see longline fishing, represented in the blue, is overwhelmingly the largest collector, consumer, lander of pelagic species in Hawaii. So the number of registered longlining vessels in Hawaii is represented in the pink bars. So the number of vessels has pretty much stayed consistent of around 120 something, give or take. And the number of hooks is recorded from 1991 in the dot plot connected by the blue line. The number of hooks is measured in millions, and you can see it has tripled pretty much from about 15 million hooks to about 45 million hooks, and this is only up to 2008. So there's probably more now, almost 50,000, I bet. The problem with longline fishing is that it accidentally kills thousands of endangered turtles and seabirds every year, as well as a bunch of sharks, dolphins, and other kinds of species in the water, manta rays, stuff like that. I have to warn you, the next few slides are going to be a little bit graphic. They're going to feature some incidental catch or bycatch of longline fishing. So this is sharks as longline bycatch. If they can be released, they are released. You know, sometimes mako sharks are kept, and I'm hoping they're eaten. This one is birds as longline bycatch. The birds are immediately drawn to the long lines as they are set. This bait up in the air. Yeah, they get stuck and are pulled down and don't come back up. These are turtles as longline bycatch. Of special concern is in the Hawaii Bay shallow set pelagic longline fishery are the endangered leatherbacks and North Pacific loggerhead turtles, and also the threatened green sea turtles and olive ridleys, I think they're called. So how is longline fishing regulated? This is a map of the puzzle work of different jurisdictions in the Pacific. The larger areas are managed by different commissions of participant states. Interestingly, not all are Pacific Island or Pacific bordering states. The EPO, or the East Pacific Ocean, is managed by the Inter-American Tropical Tuna Commission. The Western and Central Pacific Ocean is managed by the Western and Central Pacific Fishery Commission, and the the South Pacific Regional Fisheries Management Organization manages the South Side Pacific Ocean area. The Hawaiʻi Longline Fishery is located in this green area right here, within the U.S. Exclusive Economic Zone. The Hawaii EEZ, along with the EEZ South and West, also in the green, are managed by the Western Pacific Regional Fishery Management Council. So this map here shows the U.S. maritime boundaries in the Pacific managed by the National Marine Fisheries Service under the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, aka NOAA, under the U.S. Department of Commerce. This other map here shows the exclusion areas in the U.S. EEZ around Hawaii, where longline fishing is prohibited. So, including the northwestern Hawaiian Islands, the Papahanaumokuakea Monument, longline fishing is prohibited within 59 nautical mile radius around the geographic centers of these islands and atolls. And within this main Hawaiian Island longline fishing prohibited area, from along the northern edge from the east to the west, over here, that little area is open to longline fishing from October 1st through January 31st, but is otherwise prohibited, as well as the southern exclusion zone is always prohibited to longline fishing. To use longline gear to catch tuna, swordfish, or any other federally managed pelagic species in the Hawaii EEZ, permits are required, including the Hawaii Longline Limited Entry Permit, as well as the Marine Mammal Authorization Program Certificate. Permits expire March 3rd of each calendar year, and they're acquired from the PIRO office, which is the Pacific Island Regional Office, located here in Hawaii on the island of Oahu. A National Marine Fisheries Service Western Daily Longline Fishing log sheet must be filed within 72 hours of returning to port. If hooking or entanglement of a marine mammal occurs, a Marine Mammal Authorization Program mortality injury report must be filed within 48 hours of returning to port. Vessels, each registered vessel's official number must be displayed on both sides of the deck house or hull. 18 inches tall for vessels 65 feet or longer, or 10 inches tall for all other vessels. Gear identification, so all longline buoys and floats must also be marked with the vessel's official number. Departure time and trip type must be declared 72 hours in advance to the PIRO Observer Program. Once your trip has been declared, you can only set lines of the declared type, and an observer may be assigned to your trip to observe that you are following regulations. So the Western Pacific Regional Fishery Management Council have enforced sea turtle interaction limits. Currently, the maximum annual limits for turtles are 16 leatherback sea turtles or 46 loggerhead sea turtles. If either of the limits are reached, the shallow set fishery will be closed for the rest of the year for all longline fishing operations north of the equator. Also, if the limit is exceeded in any year, the following year the number limit will be reduced. The Hawaii Longline Fishery for swordfish was closed in 2000 over concerns of excessive sea turtle bycatch and reopened in 2004 after implementing a list of mitigation measures. Prior to 2001, a total of 666 turtles were caught annually in the Hawaiʻi Longline Fishery. These are approximate numbers, but approximately 418 loggerheads, 146 olive ridleys, 112 leatherbacks, and 40 green sea turtles, which are all either endangered or threatened. These numbers inspired litigation by environmental organizations, which resulted in the closure. Did I say it was reopened in 2004 after implementing mitigation measures? I think I did say that. So studies found that using wider hooks, about wider circle hooks, this one right here, about 5 centimeters in diameter, and with mackerel-like fish for bait instead of these J-looking hooks, 4 centimeters in diameter with squid bait, significantly reduced the bycatch rate. Also, setting at nighttime was a requirement that was implemented by the Western Pacific Regional Fishery Management Council, along with specific training, guidelines, and gear for handling, dehooking, resuscitating, and releasing sea turtles. These mitigation measures reduce sea turtle interactions by about 90%. And NOAA has also since increased its observer coverage and debriefer resource management staff, increasing their trips observed by about 500%. Next slide. So before 2011, about 1,380 black-footed albatross and 1,163 laysan albatross were caught annually in the Hawaiʻi Longline Fishery. A number of mitigation techniques were implemented to drastically reduce those numbers. So thawed baits were required for both shallow and deep set longlining. Dyeing the baits blue was the overall most effective deterrent measure, along with strategic offal discharges. Offal, did I say that right? It's basically entrails of butchered animals. So they would like pollute the water at strategic moments so that to deter the birds so that they wouldn't get dragged down while the hooks were being set. And it worked. Check this out. This huge reduction of birds caught by catch. So, though mitigation measures did not target reducing shark bycatch specifically, shark bycatch was also reduced through the other measures by about 50%. And though these measures seem to have reduced the unwanted interactions and bycatch, the number of hooks, especially outside of the EEZ, has steadily increased. The global demand on tuna and swordfish definitely hasn't decreased and will not be satisfied, which leaves with concerns of a dwindling fish stock. There's also the issue of licensed vessels submitting false reports, especially when they're not being observed, and also unregistered vessels operating outside of regulation that makes these standards difficult to regulate and enforce. The NOAA Western Pacific Regional Fishery Management Council has in place a fishery ecosystem plan with objectives to continue to maintain diverse and productive ecosystems and foster the long-term sustainable use of marine resources in an ecologically and culturally sensitive manner to protect species and resources, to promote awareness and participation of local communities, and reduce unsustainable human impacts. So while we strive to be more sustainable, hopefully we will not exhaust our stocks beyond their threshold to recover. And that's my case study on the Hawaiʻi Longline Fishery.